In early 1983, a funny thing happened, and it wasn't funny, amusing. David Hockney announced to the world that he'd introduced a new way of working, and it was called joiner photography. That's what he's calling it. And it meant taking lots of pictures and joining them together so you could get a composite image taken over a period of time which a still photograph or even a painting couldn't match. And this original idea was going to revolutionise how we look and thought about art. I was absolutely furious, you can imagine. I'd never said I'd invented that way of working anyway, but I was still furious about it. But there's nothing I could do about it at all because it was splashed across the Evening Standard and the colour magazines, and there's even a TV programme about it. And so I had to console myself with the fact that the art critics who came to look at my work actually did recognise that I was there before Hockney. In fact, this one here and the Waldemar Janicek says long before Hockney started producing his composite photographs, Grills was creating shimmering images out of hundreds of tiny interlocking pieces, blah, 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 blah. And there's another one here by the New Statesman and the Sunday Times and so on. So, but for the general public, it wasn't, you know, they didn't read those sort of things usually. It's only the art people were interested in. So you get somebody at a dinner party or somewhere else saying, I like your work, it's a lot like David Hockney's, isn't it? I like that, it is. Perhaps the most interesting thing was that a person said once to me, and I always apply this to sort of make myself feel better. They said, oh, I've been to see that film, The Seven Samurai. It seems to be rather like it seems to be a bit of a rip-off of what is it, of the Magnificent Seven. And I'd say, hang on a minute, it's the other, oh, forget it. But I'll tell you what it did do, saying that, whenever I thought about Hockney and rip-off, I thought of that song from the Magnificent Seven, because it was cheerful. Compliment back, because normally I make things in a frame, but this time I did it in an exploded way like Hockney uses in making this, and it was called the Bank Holiday Monday, and I'll read out what the New Statesman said about it. There we are, it's about 6 foot wide, and he said Bank Holiday Monday, a group of spectators in wheelchairs at the bottom of the picture contemplates a reenactment of the Battle of Naseby by the Seal Knot Society, all Gadabas Cavaliers and Roundheads. Pageantry, Sana Summer Day, energetic multitudinous activity, even including a group of girls in peasant costume tending the wounded in the foreground, are fresh and immediate with a real sense of trotting horses and heaving melees, but the underlying message is cogent and inescapable. We still prefer to live in the past. We have still not settled the issues between Cavaliers and Roundheads. We still glorify war. It's very nice of them to say so. And there you are, you can see it right to the horizon there, actually taking place at Naseby, where that battle took place all those hundreds of years ago. And he did say something about this, his Hockney's genius for composition makes his work more immediately appealing, but his content is characteristically superficial and Adman's view of the world, while Grills is heavier and he takes on much more ambitious subjects, which was nice of him to say that. But those sort of things were said, and it didn't make any difference to the general public what they said, because Hockney had discovered things. So that was that. So what? So as I say, I played that song, but now nobody says anything about that at all. It's all forgotten. What they do say is something else. If somebody comes from Amazon, say, or post office, and stand at the door, and they say, "Give you the parcel," and turn around and say, "By the way, you're not related to that Bear Grylls, are you?" And I think it's a long, the Grylls. Luckily, there aren't many of them, but it's a distant relationship. And they stand back and say, "Well, wait till I tell my wife that I've met a relative of Bear Grylls." Halo over my head suddenly. A halo. But if anybody says, "You're not related to that David Hockney, are you?" I'd say, "Don't even think about it.